The following is a RackRadioShow.com exclusive.
Thanks so much. I'd like to welcome everyone to the WWE Tribute to the Troops conference call. This year's annual holiday special features country music sensation Florida Georgia Line, along with WWE Superstars and Divas to honor the United States Armed Forces. The special will air on USA Network tomorrow, Wednesday, December 17th from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and on NBC Saturday, December 27th from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're currently joined by WWE Triple Crown Champion The Miz.
And our first question comes from the line, Joshua Malone, here, Publications. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hey, Miz. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
So let me ask you, why does this event continue to be important for the company and for you personally?
For me personally, it's one of my favorite specials that WWE does. It's incredible to be a part of it. I've been doing this for about 6 years now. WWE has been doing it for 12 years. My first year actually being a part of Tribute to the Troops, I actually got to go over to Iraq and witness what our soldiers go through on a day-to-day basis. Now, we can watch the news all we want and how they portray what a war is like and what's going on, but until you actually go over there and see the life that a soldier lives, you have a whole newfound appreciation for the life they live. I mean, when I went to Iraq, it was like a desert. There was nothing there. All these some of the camps didn't even have running water. So these guys would be in this camp for 6 months to a year, and they would have to go, number one, in these tubes, and number two, in a wag bag where they would go, and then they'd put it in the field and light it on fire. You know, it was just incredible. They would the only thing to do over there was work, eat, and if they had a gym, work out, and if they had internet, if it was on, they could use that. But I mean, they really couldn't talk to their families. You know, it was just, they're secluded, and all they really see is the soldiers in uniforms. So to bring the WWE out there in our normal clothes is just refreshing. It puts a little different in their normal, average, everyday routine. And it kind of boosts morale, is what most soldiers would tell us. You know, after we leave, you know, it would give them a new sensation, a new feeling of joy, which is the little things that you can do for what they do for us. I remember being over there and talking to an 18-year-old kid who I asked him, you know, what do you do? And he's like, well, I drive the armored vehicle. So he goes and shows me, you know, the armored vehicle, takes me around it. And I saw this orange pole sticking out of the front, which seemed out of place to me. And I go, what's the orange pole for? And he goes, oh, it blows up the landmine before it blows us up. And I go, oh, my God, have you ever had that happen? He goes, yeah, it just happened yesterday. I go, wait a second. This cannot be the conversation that we're having right now, and it can't be normal. Like, it was just a normal conversation, like a so matter of fact. Like, it just happened yesterday, you know? No big deal. It's like, no, that's not normal. Being blown up by a landmine, and now granted, the armored vehicle is able to take that, but you still, I mean, that's scary. That's supposed to be fearful, but these guys are the true, real-life action heroes, and they're over there. So it's the little things that we can do to really give back to our United States Armed Forces and our military. It's truly incredible what they go through on a day-to-day basis. I mean, they're away from their families, they're away from their friends. I remember signing an autograph, and a soldier gave me a picture of me and a baby, and I go, what's this? And he goes, oh, you met my son before I did. And I go, oh my God, you know, it just blew me away. It gave me chills to hear that. But they're so proud, and they're so you know, respectful and happy to do what they're doing. And you know, I just have the utmost respect for our United States Armed Forces for what they do. So it's the little things that we can give back. You know, being at Fort Benning this year in Columbus, Georgia, was truly an honor and so much fun. I mean, some of the soldiers are being deployed, you know, the next day. So this might be the last time that they get to spend with their family and friends for a very long time. So hopefully, you know, we can give them a memory that will last a lifetime with their family.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our next question comes from the line of Scott Fishman from Miami Herald Online. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Thank you. Hi, Miz. How are you doing?
Go on. How you doing?
Good. How are you? I'm just curious, with your experiences, you talk about your 6 years of experience and going to the Tribute to the Troops and your interaction with the troops. How did that impact you as, for your role with the Marine? And do you have these memories as you're going through the process of making the movie?
Oh, absolutely. It's a tremendous amount of pressure to go into a movie and call yourself the Marine, especially when you know the sacrifices that each and every Marine goes through on a day-to-day basis. And so when I went to do this movie, I said, I want a Marine there to show me how they clear a room, how they hold a gun. I wanted to be able to do everything that, the Marine does. But honestly, I'm not going to war. I'm filming a movie. I mean, these guys are the true heroes, and I'm just trying to make an action film that hopefully, while filming it, I'm like, God, the only thing I want, I could care less about all the critics. The only critic that I really care about is the United States Marine Corps, and if they approve of it, if they like the movie. So from the feedback that I've gotten, most people say, they really enjoy the movie. So that's enough for me.
Okay, and last one, do you have any particular memory from this experience of going to Fort Benning?
Absolutely. I mean, whenever each time we go to a different place, whether it's going to Iraq or Bahrain or going to Fort Hood or Fort Bragg or Fort Benning, they each have a different vibe. And just going out into the arena and seeing just a sea of uniformed soldiers, with their families, with their friends, is just an amazing sight. And it always gives me a newfound appreciation of what we're doing, whether the soldiers are booing me or cheering me. It doesn't really matter, because WWE always likes to give them the show that they see on Monday Night Raw and the show that they see on Friday Night SmackDown, but also make it extra special. We bring, all our superstars and divas, but not only that, we bring Florida Georgia Line to perform for them, and there's a bunch of celebrity messages from Angelina Jolie to Eva Longoria to the Kardashians, and many, many more. So it's a lot of fun, and it's really cool, and it's very impactful.
Thank you so much.
So.
Thank you. And our next question comes from the line of Joshua Cadill from Crave Online. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hey, Vince, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. You kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but is there a specific moment where you actually got to sit down and talk to a soldier whose story impacted you the most? I know you mentioned about seeing someone's kid first, but did you have any other experiences that touched your heart more so than others?
Those were two really good stories. Another one, I was in Bahrain on an aircraft carrier where they don't see land for 30 days. They're on the ocean for that long, and we went to a private location. We couldn't say where we were in Bahrain or where we were, but we get in there, and I start talking to this one soldier, and I asked him, why did you join? And he said, I was working at Lids and just thinking about my life, and my wife, she got pregnant, and it got me thinking, do I want my daughter to, go to show and tell or to talk about her dad, and do I want her to say, hey, my dad works at Lids? Or do I want her to say, my dad is in the United States Armed Forces? And I just wanted her to be proud of me, and I wanted her to have respect for me. And I just couldn't see her respecting me if I just worked at Lids. I can see her respecting me if I worked, for the United States Armed Forces. I wanted to do something noble, something that she can be proud of. And I wanted to protect her along with everyone else in the United States. And I was blown away by that, because it's so true. When I don't have one, but from what I've heard, when you have a kid, it changes your life and it changes your whole mentality. It was I was on the wrong track. I was doing bad things. Wasn't really mature, but being in the armed forces really made me mature. It made me have to grow up. And now, I know that my daughter I'm a man that my daughter can be proud of, and I can be an example for her and her friends. And I was just blown away by that.
That's awesome. Thanks.
And our next question comes from the line of Lindsay Ward from Rack Radio Show. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Thanks so much. Hi, Miz. How you doing?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Thanks so much for speaking with us today. I'm curious to know that in the 6 years that you've been doing tribute to the troops, if you have a favorite place that you've visited.
I would say Iraq. It was, on my first tour for tribute, and it just blows you away. Like, we went to so many bases, and just to see the lives that they live, out there, it's really, truly hard to explain. I mean, it's a desert, and there's nothing to do. And I can just see people going stir crazy, especially when you're away from just normalcies, things that we take for granted. They don't have. The internet doesn't work most of the time. Nowadays, you look at kids and you look at the adults, you look at everybody. They're always on their phones. They don't have, their cell phones out 24/7, texting, their buddies, Facebooking and Twitter. It just can't happen. So, I mean, a lot of the times, their internet doesn't work, so they don't get the small things that we take for granted. And it's truly interesting. I mean, like I said, I visited one where there's no running water. I mean, I couldn't imagine not living with water for 6 months to a year. I mean, just the things that they go through on a day-to-day basis, it's just incredible. It's so noble. It's really cool.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. And our next question comes from the line of Dan Carbone from NBC. Please go ahead.
Hi, how are you?
Very well.
Good. Why do you think people enjoy tuning into this annual special?
I think people really enjoy tuning in because it's a feel-good moment. It's something that puts a smile on your face. You can sit down with your family in front of your fire, maybe sip on some eggnog if you want, and just really enjoy a fun, interactive show where you get to see a crowd really interacting with the superstars, and you can laugh. There's drama, there's comedy, there's action, there's real life, true stories in there. You get to see our soldiers in their uniforms with their families, and it's just a really feel good moment. And I think people appreciate that. And I think with all the negativity that's on the TV these days, it's kind of nice to have something that's all about positive and giving back, because this is the time to give back. It's the holiday season.
Great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you. And I'll now turn the call back over to you. We presently have no more questions at this time.
I'd like to thank The Miz and everyone else for joining this call today. As a reminder, WWE Tribute to the Troops will air tomorrow, Wednesday, December 17th from 8 to 10 p.m. on USA, and on NBC Saturday, December 27th from 8 to 9 p.m.